People have gathered around ideas since the beginning of time. Each successful collaboration pushing innovation forward, building a stronger future. Motorist Insurance Group and Brick Street Insurance have combined decades of experience to create an even better one-stop shop for agents and policyholders, encircling businesses and individuals with coverage at every step in life's journey. We are now Encova Insurance. Motorist Insurance Group and Brick Street Insurance have come together to create a better one-stop shop for agents and policyholders, encircling you with coverage at every step in life's journey. We are now Encova Insurance.
Hi, this is Jim the Keys bartender and coming to you from Madrid Avenue, just a couple houses away from where I used to live. Well, actually, right next door.
That's right.
Right next door. This is Steve from Key Largo Comics.
How you doing?
I'm at Steve and Lizzie's. They're always fun, loving couple, Steve and Lizzie. You thought I was just going to say Lizzie. And they were kind enough to do an episode with me. Lizzie has to open up early in the morning, so she said, I think we may entice her out.
Yeah, you never know.
You don't know it. I'm not going to force it. I wouldn't force it. And we are in Key Largo, and we are at the beginning. Today was the beginning of lobster mini season. Did you work today?
I did work from home.
Yeah. Were you out on the road?
No. Just in my office. Rolled out of bed and rolled into the office.
Yeah.
So kind of got a good deal there.
Yeah.
So
down here right now, there's tons of boats on the water. I didn't even have to go. I have not looked at the water today. How about you?
I have not been close enough to see water.
No, me today. So, I've seen posts where there's just tons of boats out there. There's people diving. Lobster mini season. A whole bunch of things. I hope no one gets hurt out there. We did talk about it at another show about lobster mini season. But I just wanted to mention something too. This is separate from the lobster season because it was kind of weird time of year. I have a club meeting in the morning. I belong to Rotary, Key Largo Rotary, and we have a speaker at our breakfast, and it starts early in the morning. It's kind of crazy. I belong to a breakfast group when I'm a bartender, but actually Tuesday nights I don't work, so I go in and roll in Wednesday. And they asked for people to bring speakers in, and I had someone from my other place of work. I was going to have someone from the Gin. That's it, Gin.
Gin on the mind?
You know what? Maybe I do, or maybe I don't. I'm not sure. But I had someone lined up, and the timing was off from my supervisor from my second job. And luckily, she didn't show up today because there was problems with the display. But I put together, it's such a cliche if you think about a Rotary group, that someone comes in. I did a presentation, a PowerPoint.
Right.
But PowerPoint is the new slideshow. It is a slideshow.
That's right. Yep.
Of the 21st century.
Yep.
And
it's a Microsoft.
I did one of, and I did a trip to Poland. And I don't think I really didn't think it was. I hate to say it. I didn't think it was any good.
What is a Rotary Club? I've always been curious.
It's a service organization. It was started in the early part of the 20th century. Like, oh God, I should know the date. It's like 1908 or something like that. It was businessmen getting together.
Okay.
And what they do is they'd have a club where they can network and also do something for the community.
Okay.
Like do scholarships, help out people, whatever. And then Rotary became international. It started out in the Chicago area. They're going to kick the shit out of me. I really kind of no. Maybe it was in Ohio, but now it's international. They're in Africa, Asia, Australia, South America, Europe, and there's our main thing that their international group was the eradication of polio.
Okay,
and they do clean water things that go in the village, and locally. Besides supporting the international ones, we also support local things like Take Stock in Children, which is a mentoring operation for middle schoolers through college. And we also raise a lot of money for scholarships for people like that. So just like all these other, what is it? It's because of Rotary, you get things done. I mean, like a Rotary is like a part of an engine.
Right.
Rotor. And every piece has its intrinsic part. And it's a great organization. You got good heart. And I'm unique. I'm probably one of the few bartenders, or the only bartender, maybe in the Keys, Rotary. Maybe I could be one of the few in Florida. I almost in Pennsylvania. That's a bartender. But I'm also a podcaster.
Right. Man of jack of all trades.
Yeah, master of none. And I did that presentation. And in order not to be cliche, I did bring out the story when I was going into Polish. And I mentioned this before. I'll make it real quick. On last week's episode, that I had a microphone, the Meteor microphone. It's a powered mic, and it looks like a big metallic medicine tablet, but one you could shove up someone's ass.
Oh, wow.
And it looks big.
Yeah.
And it's like a elongated egg with equal oval top. But what it has is the tripod legs. It opens up, and the whole thing's a microphone. You could set it in the center of a table.
Okay.
And it would pick up 360. A powered mic is more active than the mics that we're using, dynamic mics that go through the soundboard. And he saw it, and Poland's in the middle of a big a backlash, reactionary against the LGBT, whatever, QT and all that. And I mean, they are what they are, and they need to, they need not to be thrown off buildings and tortured.
I agree.
And tortured. And they're really anti. They're putting out signs that.
Wow, really?
Oh, they're putting out signs with crosses through the rainbow flag.
Oh my God! Which
there's a funny comedian says, when they claim the flag, they claim to all the colors. So, so the guy saw that and wanted to know, we see something in your bag, and I knew it automatically. Mm-hmm. There was something left in the bag. I had the Chromebook out, and he goes, "What is that?" And I go, "Well, that's a microphone." He goes, "Show it to me."
Yeah.
He was like, and looked, his eyes were kind of blazing.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, like, ooh, yeah. I'm going to see some gay stuff that we don't like.
Right.
And I pull it out and open it up, and he goes, I say, see a microphone. And he goes, he's so disappointed.
Really?
Yeah, he was going to say, I could go back and tell.
It was going to be some sort of like erotic toy?
Yeah, that's something like that. That's disturbing. You disgusting American.
Wow.
Yeah. And he saw the plug in the side and all that stuff. And the plug was in the wrong side of the area if you were to put it. And it was just not shaped the way, because it's a microphone. It's, you could tell by the markings on it and all that stuff. So I kind of ruined that guy's day. But I threw that story in at the Rotary so I could just make it not, so I wouldn't be just any slideshow.
Yeah, right. Spice it up.
They spice it up a bit. And they know if you're going to ask me to talk, and I had to fill in, and my speaker wasn't able to do it. I didn't want to just mail it in, so I had to have. I think I had 3 good laughs, and the rest of it, but then again, I'm not the only one that's done that at the Rotary at 7:30 in the morning.
Bombed.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
I'm not mentioning any names.
Yeah.
So, but hey, you got to work with what you get. Right. Before I bring in, next time I'm bringing in a freaking blow-up doll.
Oh, man.
And
are they ready for that?
Well, I'll have it dressed. Okay. I'll have it conservatively dressed.
Yeah.
And maybe not with the blowjob, because that's the bad thing that really gives it away, right? With the mouth open.
Yes.
But what are you going to do with that? I don't get it. Like the plastic part, the opening.
It's not
it's got to be so. Yeah. I mean, what are you getting out of it? It's latex, right?
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
Well, you could.
Is it a beach ball material or something?
Something like that. What's that going to? I mean, unless you're into beach balls or
it's not making a lot of sense.
Or making a raft, like one of those cheesy life rafts. If you ever fucked one of those, which I guess there's no problem with that.
I have.
What? Some aquatic furniture. If you ever fucked some aquatic furniture. or one of those like vinyl whales, Shamus. They got turtles.
Pool toy.
Pool toys, yeah. But they don't, I mean, imagine that would be something that you could just put in the middle. I'm going to say it. I'm going to try to say this. I get tongue-tied. This is the reason why I'd never be a Shakespearean actor.
Right.
Besides not being able to act. Inexplicably put an insertion point on a pool toy.
Yeah.
And then let the laughs begin as someone gets drunk and tries to fuck your Shamu, your pool Shamu.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, I mean, there's all sorts of things and stuff like that. I've seen a hot dog, a blow-up hot dog in a bun. I haven't. Imagine there was a hamburger. Anything else? You see anything else? A blow-up doll woman raft.
They got those noodle things. I mean, it's probably got to be something
the noodles foam
you could do with that. I don't know.
And noodle thing. I did have. There was over the busy season. I had these guys. There were two doctors. One was a psychiatrist, and the other was a dentist. And they were talking about shit about noodles in the pool.
Yeah.
And the way they spoke about it, they did not make any, what would you call that, suggestion that there was anything kinky about it.
Right.
Yeah. But the way they said it, it just sounded like they're friends of mine. Two older perverts.
Oh, man.
The noodles, just talking about noodles. Talking about their noodles.
No.
You talk about noodles. It's like talking about, like, let's say we were sausage makers, right?
Oh, come on.
Come on, there's people that make sausage, right?
Yeah.
You get pork, you get beef, whatever, stuff like that, and they make their own sausage, and they grind it, up and do that stuff, and he goes, how's your sausage, blah, blah, blah. And you start, if you normally talk about sausage, you don't give a reference to what it's about.
Right.
And why you're talking about the sausage. People are just going to assume you're making suggestive talk.
Right. It was like that Saturday Night Live skit with
the sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I'm not trying to be derivative of that. I'm just picking something that's innocuous and not. No, I wouldn't just say try or we have exceptionally thick, girthy sausage, succulent sausage. I mean, that's the way we say it. They're succulent sausage. They are extremely. We use a non-rigid shaft.
Right.
Casing on it.
Will.
Yeah. Animal skin for your pleasure.
Oh, come on.
Now that's the sweaty balls thing, but that's just guys talking about sausage.
Right.
I love sausage. I mean, sausage is good. I like to put a little anise in it, not anise.
Okay.
Oh, anise.
Oh man,
I just went through that anise. ANISE.
Right.
That
That's
stuff you put in
spice. No.
Yeah, it's a spice. It's kind of liquor spice.
Right. Okay.
And you put it in it, you get that Italian sausage taste in that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Fucking, we started talking about it. I did eat around 3:00. I started talking. I'm in the mood for sausage and meatballs.
You are now?
No. But I started talking about it. It's funny. We started talking about the food. Now I'm in the fucking mood for it. I was just joking about it. I'm not going to fucking joke about food anymore.
All right.
I know. It's just, I could have started talking about hot dogs. Oh, there's one story I didn't relate.
Okay.
I didn't relate. I'm in Poland. Mm-hmm. I share a lot of stories, but we stayed at this nice hotel. It's the Hotel Inés, like a Spanish Inés, INES, or INEZ. But in the basement, there's a supermarket of it on the other side and a gas station. Everything you need. It was actually one of those 24-hour marts, the one they have over there, and I forget whatever name they use over there. And we were coming back, and I saw that they had hot dogs and stuff like that. And they put them in different kind of, instead of using buns, they use kind of like a cutout, like a round shaft of bread. And they poke a hole through the middle, and they put the hot dog right in the center of it.
Pig in blanket almost?
Yeah.
All right.
A big one. A big, a foot long, right? Okay. And the exchange rate was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So I said, I want to get one. For some reason, it looked good, and people came in and ordered them and stuff like that. Well, maybe they're different from the ones in the United States.
Yeah.
They're not all shitty, sitting there the whole time.
Right.
And they were making such a big deal about doing it. They're making it. You can't do it yourself. They got to do it for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Behind the counter?
Yeah, classy, right?
Yeah.
Well, fucking, I got it. Holy crap. The mustard was horrible. Do not order American-style fast food.
Yeah.
In a fucking other country. I didn't go. I prided myself not going to McDonald's and stuff like that. And my wife, Abby, had the same thing happen to her. She ate because I ordered one. She ordered one. I think it was
terrible.
It was horrible.
Huh.
It was horrible. I'm glad I don't know the name of the place because I wouldn't say it. Otherwise, they were very nice.
Yeah.
They were very nice. It was funny because it's the same gas station when I needed to get gas. I went in there and tried to prepay, and they don't prepay over there. They just put the gas in and then go and pay.
Okay. They're very trusting.
Well, that's where like Flim Flam started in Europe and stuff like that. I couldn't understand why that wouldn't be a thing, that you would prepay for it.
Right.
But they don't. So I went in there and she showed me, I'm waiting for 5 minutes trying to give her money. She goes, you don't have any gas yet. So I just want to buy this amount of gas. She goes, you don't know how much gas she can't set it. I guess they can't set it or anything like that.
Right.
So, yeah, that was the same gas station. Otherwise, they were good. And they obviously don't.
Oh, are the steering wheels on the left? The same side?
Everything's on the same side.
Well, that's okay. Is that like an old
old
wives' tale or something?
No, that was England.
Oh.
England, it's on the other side. It's funny, it's England. In the rest of the world, it's actually, that's one thing we do right. There's 3 countries. You know about the 3 countries that are still on the English measurement system?
No.
It's Liberia and Burma and the United States.
Wow.
I think because Burma now, Myanmar, was a British colony.
Okay.
West Pakistan. No, that's Bangladesh. So, but I think it was British colony. And Liberia, because Liberia was resettled by American slaves. The abolitionists started sending them, when they said, well, we don't want there to be any slaves. So we're going to take you that are from every different tribe, tribal group, and stick you in one country in an innocuous area we can get a hold of. Obviously how great an area could have been if they were able to establish a colony there for it. But, and Liberia has been through fucking years of civil war over there. They use the American Constitution as its
wow.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. See, the Constitution doesn't guarantee. A Constitution enumerates your rights, but doesn't guarantee they're going to be enforced because they had some bad years of people coming in and they had child soldiers and all that shit like that, which is all fun and games right now. I'm sorry about being. Where did I get the fucking thing? Okay, so what I'm thinking, the hot dogs.
The measurement system.
Measurement system. Why they bring up the measurement?
So the steering wheel's on the other side.
Yeah, and everything. They drive on the right. They count kilometers per hour. They go. The fast cars are going 110, 120.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like the Autobahn.
Did you go that fast when you were over there?
I didn't have the kind of car to go. I had a Nissan Juke.
Oh, how fast did that go?
130.
Oh, did you get up to that speed?
130, yeah.
Whoa.
Kilometers per hour.
So what's that
I can't believe you.
What's that, about 70?
I did better than 70, 85, 90. Okay. I have my family and I wouldn't do that unless I was by myself.
That's responsible.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad I didn't. Oh, well, I wouldn't have done it anyway with my family. I wouldn't have done it with the family. But without my family, if I had BMW or something like that, I might have done 170, 180
kilometers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's topping out. You're burning. I mean, you could just go at the 180.
How much traffic is around you, though, when they're doing that?
When you get near big cities, you get some. So you got to be real careful there.
Yeah.
But for stretches, there's a lot. And when you're going at that high thing, you got to remember this. It's anywhere from $5.50 to $5.75 a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
I did the conversion in my head. They do liters. Their exchange rate's better over there for the Zloty or Zloty. And, but once you start going over, you know how it is. Once you start going over 60, your fuel efficiency drops.
Sure.
that's a shame. That's the reason why eventually, I don't care what people say, I am fucking going electric because the efficiency is 90% on electric motors, except when they get hot, stuff like that. But if you're moving, you got air going through them and stuff like that. And they just introduced, I saw a new one, they're up to 98%.
No.
And I don't think there's a combustion motor that goes, let me guess, 50% efficient. I think they're all like 35, 36, 37.
It's a huge difference.
It is. And right now it's storage, matter of storage. But they got trucks now. They think next year there's going to be pickup trucks that have 400-mile legs on it.
Okay, wow.
400-mile legs. That's a different story, isn't it?
Right.
When you go, most people, 400 miles, yeah, I can. It's good enough for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then storage will come along eventually. They're going to be able to make the whole body. The way I view it, and I have ideas for everything, is to make the whole item into a battery.
Oh.
Using different materials, turning into different types of battery. Now, the problem with that is that, you can't just stick any old battery in when you're with an electric vehicle. You have to have it. It has to be balanced charge. It has to be hooked up. You can't just replace replace cells in a car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not like It's not like a flashlight. It has to be balanced when you do that stuff. How the fuck did we get here? I have no idea. We're talking about the Polish thing.
The fast cars.
Yep, and we got that in Miami, right? You drive up there a lot.
I go up about once every 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. Once every 2 weeks.
How long do you
Maybe
go?
3 times a month.
How long are you up there for?
8 hours.
8 hours?
Yeah, I just go up for work.
I feel like you go like 5 days a week or something.
I used to, but my boss,
You're telecommuting now.
Right. I VPN in from home.
Yeah.
And it's just like
they still say use the VPN thing?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I remember when in 2001 and 2002, were you working then? Wait, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 49.
Like I said, you look a lot younger. I always think like that. So, okay. So
yeah, I was definitely working.
49. Yeah, you were in your 30s.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, VPN first started coming out when you used
Virtual Protocol Network.
Virtual Privacy Network.
Privacy Network, yeah.
I was working at a software company. I wouldn't know shit. That's the reason I was desperate. I was working in government, and then I realized there was no way, unless I went to school. And I didn't. The last time I took computer classes in school was in college, and it just not. That was the one class I would just shut down.
Really?
Or, I mean, if you took me to fashion design, maybe that would be it too. I have nothing against it. I don't think it's because it's just one of the things you're not interested in.
Right.
Like I got interested in NASCAR when you started coming and watching NASCAR. I started when there's a race on and stuff like that. I put it on and watch it.
You always put it on now.
No, I put it on now because if something you could find interest in something, you eventually will hook you.
It does.
So with computers, for some reason, you couldn't teach me. But if you made me do it, you made me sell software, and then I had to make a profit on it.
Right.
Then I had to learn.
Yeah.
I learned how to put in data, sample data for people to make it look like their organization and stuff like that, and then do a demonstration. Go, what do these people do? What do they need it for? Why would they need the software? And kind of set it up. So this is how you do this, and how you would be able to do it on a hosted solution back then, where an ASP, where someone would go in and get a secure portal, and be able to make a payment, be able to schedule a class, be able to schedule an event. So that I knew how to do drop down boxes and stuff like that. I didn't know the programming behind them. Right. And they tried to teach me Excel and Access. And what was the SQL? SQL was it. SQL was the thing. I was never going to be a programmer. Yeah. I didn't have a hidden. I wasn't like an autistic kid who was saying, you know what, Jimmy's really good at this. Is the thing he's really good at. Jimmy's not the person you put in the programming. Right. No. Jimmy's one. I mean, but how about you? Are you really comfortable with that stuff? You said VPN.
Well, I use Well, I'm not a coder or a programmer. I have friends at work that do work with SQL, et cetera. But I mean,
I still use SQL. What's it called? What's the series now? SQL 7?
I couldn't tell you that. It's not my forte.
It's weird that I even asked that.
Yeah, I mean, I just use basic programs like Excel and,
Access?
Little bit of Access. And then we have, programs specific to my job functions that we, use vendors for, like database type programs. And, I do a lot of reading of rules, regulations, and, that type of thing, and I just have to keep all that stuff cataloged. So, basically like database type programs. So,
in 2001, I barely knew how to turn on a computer.
Right.
And I could use. They didn't have a lot of apps. They just had things you did
right
on them. You had to email. I didn't necessarily know how to. I mean, it was a struggle. Yeah. I was working from the. But I think what they were buying, the company I worked for was buying, was someone that was comfortable to be able to walk into a place and be able to just start talking to them and try to sell them something. Right. And there's people that are very knowledgeable about the product but couldn't sell it. I wasn't. I was the opposite.
So you didn't have like a Commodore 64 like way back in the day or anything like that?
Really? Commodore 64, that came out after. I'm 56.
Okay.
They had.
But I mean,
what was the first one?
My first computer was a Commodore 64. Like I had it in like 1990 or something, 1980.
Okay, no, but I was in college. I was in college in 1981.
Okay.
So they had the Commodore did come out then. There was the Commodore. Right. There was another one. It was kind of weird. And the stuff they did on them was really kind of lame.
Yeah,
it was in 1983, 84 that the first Macintosh came out.
Right.
Yeah. And my brother was a year after me, and they came out and they brought it, and they had actually pretty good video games on it.
Yeah, my dad
and they had a word processor
with his company. Yeah. Never really did anything.
Well, every freshman
sat on his desk.
Yeah, every freshman in college at the Drexel University needed to get one of those.
Oh, really?
And I used it for my papers, but I came with an electric typewriter to college.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's advanced.
Yep, and with the little cover strips. So when I wrote I had the biggest paper I had to do 38 pages on electric typewriter. I did it in 2 days.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 days. And I think I got an A+ on it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was the history of mudslinging in American politics, starting from the beginning of the American Revolution.
You should be writing that paper right now.
Well, it was just as bad. It was always just as bad. Yeah. People kind of forget. They have in America or any place in the world, people have a short memory of the bad thing. That's why I think PTSD is kind of like that, where people get reminded of, oh, that was pretty bad. Because you have a tendency, your natural inclination should be to forget horrible things and remember the good things.
Right.
And then when you get reminded of the bad things, just like now, that's what, I was a history major, that I go and say, well, no, people said outrageous things, or there was always a contentious body politic in the United States as well as the rest of the world and stuff like that. And people on
but has anything ever approached the level of Trump? I don't think so.
I didn't know where you came. I didn't know if you were. I'm not. I'm at a loss with this guy.
Yeah, me too.
I'm at a loss. I don't know what to say anymore because I'm surprised that there's so many supporters.
Me too.
I've lost a sense of outrage and they're just doing it to fuck around.
It's like astonishment at this point.
Yeah. So, and they're emboldened every day that it goes on. So, if we don't get our act together and don't pull together and realize that what's the greater good that we have to do? What's the greater good? Not someone's certain agenda. You know, if you think maybe the person that leads your country should tell the truth,
right,
or endeavor to tell the truth, or even pretend to tell the truth. Pretend that it's all right. And then to pretend to say, and not say they could do whatever they want as president,
right,
which this guy said can do. The presidency gives him, he can do anything he wants.
Yeah,
no,
all the time.
I mean, you may think that. There were guys maybe like Nixon that thought that and stuff like that, but he never said that.
Right.
And it makes me, I guess the last thing I'll say is that I have to apologize to George W.
Right.
Because I miss him.
Yeah.
He was a man of beliefs. I disagreed with his beliefs, but he was a man of beliefs, and I believe he's a good man.
Yeah.
I believe he's a good man. And I can't believe that you could possibly have liked him
and now
like him.
Right.
It's like, what he would have said about him, because George Bush may have been a wild man when he was younger, but he definitely is not now. He's I'm not a religious person, but he's religious. He's God-fearing. He loves his family and stuff like that.
Right.
So, God bless George W. Bush. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know at that time how bad things could have gotten.
Now you know.
Now I know. And you know what? I'll build a little shrine for you. Besides with every other president.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? The worst president was always considered the last one from Pennsylvania, James Buchanan.
Oh, really?
He was a hack. Okay. It was horrible. He was corrupt.
Yeah.
But now he is no longer our worst president. He's no longer our worst president. I think if they did polling back then, I imagine this guy would have been 17%.
Wow.
But I mean, they didn't have to have. I mean, think about it. How many people do you have to talk to at one time? How many people in the whole country? If Buchanan was 1856 was the whole population of the United States, 35 million at that time.
Yeah.
If 300,000 people saw him total, that's 1 out of 100. He didn't have to mesmerize him with speech, content, or anything, and he could have been a horrible politician. There was a machine politics back then.
Right.
There were a few people that that used the popular thing. And one, let's say Washington, Jefferson, Jackson, and then it's the Adams were pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then Lincoln, and after Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, and after Teddy Roosevelt, Franklin. And after Franklin, this is going to be a thing. Truman, Eisenhower. They were both a continuation of each other, even though there were two different parties, yes. And then you had Kennedy, who was personality, all personality.
Yep.
May have not been substance. I was the guy that used to hero worship that guy, and I realized he wasn't. I mean, he spoke good, gave lip service to the progressive ideas I had, but he wasn't. He wasn't much different than Richard Nixon. Mm-hmm. Nixon did a lot for Medicare and all that stuff. People don't understand. With rapprochement, when it came to China, they don't understand. He did a lot of stuff. Started doing a negotiation with the Russians.
Wow.
And Ford kind of held it down for a little while. He was moderately okay. And then Carter, who was the truth, he spoke truth. People didn't want to hear it.
Right.
Carter, people can call him a wimp, they can call him a bad president, but you can't call him stupid. Carter was not stupid. He was a nuclear engineer. He could see the big picture as much as anybody, but he didn't have the gift to inspire people, even though he was so smart. His message was correct. It was delivered wrongly. Mm-hmm. Now, Reagan, he got the big picture too. Not as smart as Carter, but definitely personable, much more personable.
Right.
Brilliant. And the father, George H.W., after him, held the spot for him for a little while. He was vice president, a good president, and then Clinton. It could have been great, But he was a good president. He was a good president.
Right.
Not a great man. Not a great man. Brilliant man with a lot of appetites. A lot of appetites. Which I don't hold to that. But as many as Kennedy did. And then people were sick and tired of that and he needed someone they thought was decent. The guy that was wilder than Clinton in his younger days, Bush, was wilder.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In his younger days. Party dog. And he came out and cleaned up his act, did his thing. I don't know about Iraq and all that stuff because it's destabilized the Middle East. I think a lot of reasons why we have the refugee crisis in Europe and stuff like that had to do with taking out the main adversary, Iran, which was Iraq. Once you did that, you put Shiite in power, you made another ally for Iran and allowed them to extend their power to the rest of the Middle East, destabilizing Syria and Yemen and different places. When Iraq was there, Iraq was a stopgap. Even though Saddam Hussein was a horrible person, he was no better than Assad, no worse than Assad or the mullahs in Iran and stuff like that. Maybe, one bad guy and one bad guy, if they don't get along. Right. They got to balance. They got to spend their resources. So we got to prop up everyone and fight this other one. Where we didn't have to fight Iran. Iraq was there for that. They hated each other. Two different, Protestants. There were the Protestants and the Catholics in the Middle East. The Shia and the Sunni. And the Sunni country, Iraq, they were going to have to fight. They'd have to fight the Iranian stuff. How the fuck did we get all the way over in this stuff right here? It's just the history of the world.
Right.
Because we mentioned the president.
That's right.
Comic books.
Yeah.
Comic books. I believe this president is would have been a great comic book character if he had not been a president.
They've got him out there.
No, but if he was not the president.
Right.
It's amazing. Do you see this insect? It's like a hummingbird. No, but it's like a hummingbird.
I think he wants a mic.
Yeah. Just hanging there. He definitely has the outlandish look about him. Right. With the big ass comb over. Right. The orange tint.
Yeah, well, they've put out a few character, some comic books, with him as a character, just one shot.
It's so outrageous that it doesn't work.
Right. And
it doesn't work because people they try to do a
caricature of himself already.
He does it, and how much more extreme? Like Alec Baldwin tried to do it, right? And then you say, "Well, I'll outdo Alec Baldwin. Right? He's a horrible actor. He doesn't get the depth of my crazy or a comic book. I mean, you could they'd do a comic book on Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter." Bill Clinton, and you could go and make the exaggerated part of Barack Obama.
Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez has one out there now.
Yeah.
They made one about her.
You know what? I think she's attractive.
Yeah.
I think she's very attractive.
She's pretty.
She has very nice skin.
Yeah, she's pretty.
I mean, I'm going to hey, listen, agree or not with her, I think she's a nice-looking woman. And so... I mean, you'd probably exaggerate her hunch forward, probably, maybe straight hair and stuff like that. But I think it's one of the few people if they ever do a movie where she's portrayed, right, where they don't have to do any thing to the actresses.
Right.
If they can get a beautiful actress, the player, and not alter her face.
Yeah, you get like a Salma Hayek or something.
A much younger Salma Hayek. A younger Jennifer Lopez or something with not as much booty and all that stuff. I mean, no, and just get her. And you don't have to do anything to water down their looks. Right. Like when you get Charlize Theron in The Monster.
Oh, man.
Monster.
That's like the ultimate.
Yeah, or there was one where she's a stay-at-home mom or she's looking for a nanny. It was just released like a year or two ago. The name of Tully. Tully. The name's movie is Tully. Okay. And Tully could have been the name of the nanny or Charlize Theron, and they had to kind of give her a mom body, take off that edge, that hard ass body of Charlotte.
Right.
Charlize Theron has. Like, and Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson plays almost any woman.
Right. Black Widow.
I know, but, Black Widow, wait, a non-fiction woman.
Right.
You're going to have to do something to take a bit off.
Right.
Because not everyone's Scarlett Johansson.
Exactly.
Oh, but then again, I understand. I'm no Ryan Gosling.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to agree with that. Why the fuck will you agree with that?
Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
What's your point?
I don't look like Ryan Gosling. I said you didn't have to agree with that. Why do you have to agree with that? So
are you saying you look like Ryan Gosling?
No, I did not say I did.
Okay.
But you didn't have to agree with it so quickly. Oh,
no, you're a good-looking guy, Jim.
No, I'm not Ryan Gosling though. That's funny. I just saw him in First Man, but he can make himself look without makeup.
Right.
Make him look not the best looking just by his demeanor. By his demeanor.
Right.
It's amazing. That's what just changed the look. He gets a dead look in his eye, and that's it.
Yeah. Christian Bale's like that. He can look like...
Oh, Christian Bale's.
He can look like a good-looking guy
a Greek god.
Yeah.
Or some schmo, what was that movie with Mark Wahlberg? The Fighter.
Right.
Was that a fucking awesome movie?
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Every time his mom showed up, what did he do? Jump out the fucking window. Right. He jumped out a second story window. I love that stuff.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Remember when they're talking to their mom and saying, she's a fucking whore. I know it. And blah, blah, blah. And they get all worked up and they all fucking jump into mom's car?
Right. I think so.
That's my cousins from Frankfurt, Frankfurt, the neighborhood of Frankfurt in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. They could all jump in the fucking car and do that and go, we're going to fucking kick her ass. You motherfucking whore. Or
really?
Now I'm doing a Boston accent and stuff like that, but they were Philadelphians. You're a whore and all that stuff. And they do with that, whatever. I guess I listen to a movie and I pick up somewhat. I'm really bad with accents, but I could kind of do, because I'm from Philadelphia, you know what it's going to say? I could kind of do a Boston accent.
Okay.
It's not like doing a Southern accent.
Right.
Southern accent you got to pick up.
With like different dialects.
Yeah. I just go a little, I go a little longer on the R's and shit like that.
Right.
Yeah. And when you call someone a whore, you drag, oh, you sound like a British lord. You're a whore. My lady.
I'll work on it.
Sit upon my pole.
All right.
Okay.
Going off the tracks.
Steve just gave me a little update on the, since he's Key Largo Comics, some big announcements from San Diego Comecon. And I am a comic book, I wouldn't say aficionado.
Right.
I am fan. I'm a fan. I do watch it. I bought them when I was a kid. Let's hear about San Diego Comecon. I'll ask the questions.
So the biggest event of the weekend was Marvel Comics had their big panel where they announced all their upcoming movies for the next couple of years, and they hadn't done that in a couple of years, so this was a big one. Yeah. And they just wrapped up Phase 3 of their movies with Avengers Endgame. So everybody was pretty interested to see what's coming out next, and one of the big movies that's coming out is called The Eternals, and kind of a, like a Guardians of the Galaxy type thing that not a lot of people have probably heard about. But
I never heard of The Eternals.
Yeah, The Eternals, it's going to be kind of a team concept, but they're basically cosmic gods that were the forerunners of humanity, basically. The creators of humanity, if you will. So they announced some big castings, like Angelina Jolie is going to be in the movie.
Really?
So that's pretty huge. Salma Hayek, the aforementioned Salma Hayek, was going to be in the movie. The guy who played Robb Stark in Game of Thrones is going to be the main male lead. His name is, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But anyways, Robb Stark from Game of Thrones. So that's one of the big movies.
The King of the North.
King of the North, right. Richard Madden. Anyways. And then, of course, Black Widow is coming out. Scarlett Johansson is going to have a solo movie coming out next year. She did die. It's a prequel, and it's about how she became the Black Widow in Russia. And all the associated
Yeah, she was
characters.
trained by the KGB and all that stuff, and then she came out and she switched sides.
Right.
Okay.
So that'll be pretty interesting. Probably the one that got the biggest wow, though, was at the very end of the panel. I don't know if you remember a character about 10 or 15 years ago, a movie series starring Wesley Snipes called Blade.
Yes. He was he's a human, half vampire hybrid.
Blade,
he could live in the daytime.
That's right. Blade, the Daywalker, right. The Daystalker. Blade, the vampire hunter. They're rebooting that franchise, and nobody really saw that coming. So people had been kind of speculating it might happen, but in general, nobody really saw it coming. So they brought out the actor that's going to be playing Blade at the very end of the Marvel panel, and that got a huge eruption. Mahershala Ali, African-American actor. He's been in a lot of things.
Oh, wait a second. I know who that guy is. He was was he in True Detective?
I think he was.
That guy, he's
the new Blade.
Phenomenal.
He's the new Blade. He even looks like Wesley Snipes a little bit.
Yeah, but he can look so different from other. No, he's actually
better actor.
Great actor. He looked different almost every episode you see. I always thought there were two different actors playing this one part.
Right.
But he's one of these people that look different, like Bale.
Yeah.
It's like Bale. He may be better than Bale that way.
Right.
The best actor for that. And I'm not saying the best African American, the best actor to look different in depending on how he plays it.
Right.
It could have been an aspect. I wanted to ask you that. You were talking about Blade, but there's another show it's coming up on Amazon Prime, I think it's called.
Yeah. The Boys. Yeah. Also a comic book.
A comic book. It's regular humans rising up against the kind of these superheroes that do whatever the fuck they want, run around, accidentally kill regular humans with hubris. Hubris, that's the word. They're combating, their main combat is not superhumans, it's hubris. It's much like how wealthy people, like the guy up in Miami with the young girls.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That's the hubris of the powerful.
Right.
Where you go and do whatever. And
they feel like they could just get away with whatever they want, basically.
And I'm not to burn down. I'm not talking about burning down the house and stuff like that. But that does strike a chord.
Right.
The Boys.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, no, they can't fucking do that.
Right.
I mean, it's like, we're assuming just because someone has superpower.
Now, I haven't read that
Spider-Man,
comic series.
With great power comes
great responsibility. Sure.
Okay.
Now, I haven't read that comic book series, but now the Boys themselves are also superheroes, are they not? Mm-mm. No, they're regular people?
I think they're regular people.
Okay, yeah, I haven't read that series, though.
At least in the series.
Okay, right. Maybe they were in the comic.
And in the series. Yeah. I
got to check that comic out. But
I mean, remember they kind of DC Comics tried to do that with Superman. Remember over the last thing with the Batman versus Superman and all that stuff.
Right.
We're saying, well, fuck, man, you can't. They're like rebelling because the guy has powers and he's interfering with things, but he's doing it because he can.
Exactly.
It's like going helping. If an older woman's walking across the street and there's other older people around, you're going to, because you have the power, you're going to help them out.
Sure.
It's like being able to see among blind people.
Right.
So they weren't able quite to do it, but in The Boys, they're making the superheroes much more ephemeral in the way they decide on things.
Right.
It wasn't supposed to happen today.
Yeah, we might get a little shower here.
I think. Is there anything else from Comic-Con?
No, those were the biggies. The Blade reboot was the big, showstopper, if you will.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Pretty cool. So I think we've got a good 10 minutes with this thing right here.
It just so happens.
The beautiful thing about the weather down here is like there's a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
About
probably across
a mile and a half, 2 miles away.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's going to make it here.
Right.
But what were we going to say?
Yeah, it so happens that I actually, a couple of years ago, had a hunch that they were going to reboot Blade. Mm-hmm. So I bought his first appearance. first appearance was in a comic book called Tomb of Dracula. Tomb of Dracula, number 10, is the first appearance of Blade.
Tomb of Dracula, number 10.
Number 10, the first appearance of Blade the Vampire Slayer. I paid about $300 for it. It's not a cheap book.
Oh, yeah?
And after this Comic-Con announcement, I put it up for bid on eBay, and I already have a $750 bid on it. And there's still 6 days left in the auction. So, going to make a pretty penny on that book.
There's a show I listen to. It's Mind Power, something like that. It's all about positive views, and it's a lot of it has to do with investing, but buying low, selling high, being able to not worry about. I mean, if you know,
right.
The main thing the guy said in this investing. You have to know the business that you're investing in. And you know comic books.
Yes.
I mean, I appreciate comic books. I don't know comic books. I know what I like, but I don't know what I like is going to be fucking appealing to anybody else.
Right.
I just saw last night for the first time A Quiet Place.
Okay.
Did you see that?
I don't think so.
John Krasinski from The Office and Emily Blunt.
Okay, yeah, right.
And it's a family, and it's no sound. No sound in the beginning. They're just being very quiet. And it's a world that's, I guess there's some kind of alien invasion, and any noise that's made, these aliens come and fucking kill you.
Oh, man.
They're just very strong, very, they can tear through metal and stuff like that, and they haven't figured a way to defeat them yet. And John Krasinski's the father, and they're working to protect the family. They lost I don't even want to talk about that part of stuff. But it was somewhat unsatisfying, but I can understand why in 2018, that was considered the greatest horror movie. And it was.
Really?
It was really good. The Quiet Place.
I gotta watch that.
The ending was but the idea, pretty
Great
good.
idea, yeah.
Pretty good. It's like the Birdcage.
Okay.
You heard about the Birdcage, right?
Sandra
Bullock?
Never saw that.
You heard about it.
Oh, you talking about the one, Bird Box, the one on
Bird
Netflix?
Box.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched that yet, but it's on my list.
It's kind of weird and all that stuff.
Right.
It's about sight.
That's right.
About seeing. So they're walking without...
they can't see.
They can't
and there's
see.
Some sort of monsters around or something.
Well,
right?
I think if you see, you lock into their aspect.
Okay.
Or whatever they're realistic, who they are.
Right.
And...
so you don't want to look at them, basically.
Well, if you don't look at them, you don't know, and you don't lock in. It's I think. Okay, this is going to be a long shot. You know about Schrodinger's cat?
No.
It's a thought experiment. Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat was a German philosopher or scientist, and the idea was at simultaneous times, there's a cat in a box. Until you look in the box, the cat is 1 alive, 2 dead. But it exists both as a dead cat and a live cat until you look in there. And it was a theory on how light is. Light, remember light as a wave or as a particle.
Right.
And then when it's observed, depending on the experiment you're doing, it can behave as a wave or a particle.
Right.
And it only happens along observation when you're observing. It's a
deep.
conundrum.
That's deep.
I pulled that. Isn't it pretty deep? The second glass of wine, pretty good? I know.
I like it.
Yeah. So we're at an hour, man.
Yeah. I think we hit a lot of things.
Let's talk about Key Largo Comics. If where can they find you? They can find you on Instagram.
No, Twitter.
Instagram. Instagram's really good for pictures.
Yeah, I thought about that. I should probably.
I'm not going to tell you.
Probably link my Twitter to.
There's one where you can go and put it and you post all at the same time.
Yeah, and it links them all together or whatever. Yeah.
Facebook does Instagram.
Yeah, Facebook. Not a big fan of Facebook, but Twitter. And I'm easy to find. It's just Key Largo Comics, all one word.
Yep.
And then eBay. All my eBay auctions are also under Key Largo Comics, all one word. So. But mainly I'm on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And Listen, I'm telling you, this guy's a square dealer. If you want to get your comic books, he's the guy to deal with. He knows what he's doing, and he really takes care of. He's a detail-oriented individual.
I'd say that's true.
Yes, I'd have to say that. And he's been very helpful to the show. And I think
happy to help.
Yeah, I do appreciate it. I like your time. I like you bring me to a calmer place.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Makes me feel really good, Jim.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I do. I appreciate it. I feel relaxed when I'm here. I love you guys. You're real good people.
Thank you.
So for now, this is the Keys Bartender. We'll be signing out.
Yep.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Motorist Insurance Group and Brick Street Insurance have come together to create a better one-stop shop for agents and policyholders, encircling you with coverage at every step in life's journey. We are now Encova Insurance.